From being friends with some of the worst people to getting multiple people deplatformed, this is how Keffals ruined her career with one mistake. Keffals was born on March 25th, 1994 in Ontario, Canada. Keffals at a young age began transitioning in her teenage years, getting gender-affirming care in Thailand, and her father helped pay for her surgery. Soon after, Keffals graduated from the University of Western Ontario, and after graduating, Keffals started her political career, advocating for trans rights and pushing the Communist Party. But before we get into her political past, how did Keffals get a start on Twitch? Keffals started her streaming career playing games, doing what every streamer does when first starting out on Twitch. Over time, Keffals started to gain a small following of around 17,000 subscribers. However, that would change where she would get into one drama that would change her career as a Twitch streamer and as a Twitter user forever. Destiny, a popular political streamer in
Mel time. It's Mel time.
It's not funny anymore, I'm sorry, dude. Got into some sort of beef with somebody who identifies as a transgender deer. TFW, you get hate for respecting somebody's identity. Wait, what the f? Why am I arguing online with people pretending that they're actual deers? Destiny and Doe have been beefing for some time now, and later that year it would come to people's attention that Doe tried to take their own life. Keffals caught wind and started to hate Destiny, seeing Destiny just kept clowning on Doe after they tried to commit, and Keffals tweeted out hoping Destiny would lose their Twitch affiliate. Can't wait until Destiny finally says something so edgy, he loses his Twitch affiliate status, loses thousands of dollars of income, complains he got cancelled by the left, and then becomes openly far right because of all of the support they will give him. Destiny later on stream would go on to give us thoughts on Leah Thomas, making Keffals hate Destiny even more. And Keffals added Twitch on Twitter about the clip of his stream where he was talking about Leah Thomas and about transgenders in sports. And this ended up getting him banned on Twitch. Keffals would go to Twitter and just start flexing it, with her getting a pretty sizable following off of it. Keffals went on to get another person banned off of Twitch for having Destiny in her stream, which having a banned person in her stream is against TOS, though it is really cringe, and she for real gotta be like the biggest snitch ever on Twitter. Keffals, soon after getting a huge wave of support after getting Destiny banned, decided, you know what, the cloud isn't good enough, and decided to say that Destiny's stealth, meaning taking off the during without the partner's consent.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
And Keffals had and added zero proof to this claim. And right after this, realizing, oh, I screwed up, decided to then go and retract her statement, but of course it was already too late.
Wait, I don't know if he did it. Wait, backing up, I don't actually know if he did it, but he argued that it is not a form of rape. Why am I expected to apologize for anything? I don't care.
dropkiwifarms is a website that during the time we're going to be getting into was on Google, but now is under Tor under a ridiculous URL. But for some summary, Kiwifarms is basically a gossip website where you can find everything about any famous lolcow you can think of, DarkSidePhil, Boogie298, PurboJFS, and more. So the bad thing about this website is that there's nothing against doxing, meaning people post docs constantly, and mixed with complete freedom of speech, the site can be a pretty dangerous space. One thing the site does a lot is specifically hate on trans people, and one of these people they would hate on and almost end their website would be none other than Keffals. One major part of the thread was on a Twitter account and Discord server called Capway Ranch. Keffals has said in the past that she ran this, and the Twitter account just posted cringe stuff like this tweet, Capway Transformation Gas Society, which is like really weird, dude. The Capway Ranch Twitter account also would reply to somebody's tweet calling their fat when they were only 16, though they could chalk this up to them not knowing the age, but this is very weird and very irresponsible. This Twitter account that Keffals ran also put out a very, for some odd reason, controversial tweet, even though I don't really see it being that controversial. And with this tweet, this is probably the only things I'll ever agree with Keffals on. This tweet alone started up a group of people to hate this account and try to find any reason to hate her more. And people would find the perfect reason when a Twitter user named Minstrel in the Gallery exposed the Capway Ranch account. This started with the Twitter account putting out some screenshots from a femboy Discord server, showing that the Discord server might not be safe for minors. Those Vosh cultist femboys, yeah, their Discord server is, at best, unsafe when it comes to how it handles underage users, and at worst is an outright den for behold, flirting with a 13-year-old. After this, they would put out another tweet of femboy hiking, accusing the owners of allowing underage users and saying that minors in the server were allegedly found. They also went to put out a tweet showing the before mentioned user from the screenshot, showing someone flirting with him, showing that the user had an under 18 rule. The user's age was known, not only from them mentioning it through this was a little while after the cute bottom incident, but also from the fact that the server has an 18 plus and under 18 rules. This user openly had an under 18 rule while adults were flirting with them. And where Catboy Ranch and supposedly Keffals comes into play with this whole thing is when the Twitter account exposing Femboy Hiking went to expose Catboy Ranch for being in the server. In response, Catboy Ranch replied saying that they weren't active at all and left as soon as they knew that it happened. And like I said, the people mad over the tweet about went on to trash on Catboy Ranch for this, even though they literally said they weren't active in the server, and that there's no real proof to even prove that they were. The last thing I'll say about this drama is that my connection to it is tenuous at best, and none of the people making accusations about me actually care about how I fit into the picture because I said is bad, so they need to find a way to discredit me for their own sake. I think that is disgusting. I left the Discord immediately, but apparently because I posted 10 post in there 4 months ago, I'm basically complicit in the Discord server. I do not run or am active in. After this, there were other allegations concerning the Discord server with some femboy callers, where a Twitter user named Sleepy accused them of selling it to underage people in the server. Remember that time Keffals ran Catboy Ranch and had a bunch of under 18 Twitter femboys get callers with their name on it? Sad that cult is deleted. Now there are 3 screenshots and 3 users in this, though there's some evidence to back it up showing that it might be all false. 3 of the accounts that they called out Catboy Ranch for, with the first one being called Catboy F, where they are seen wanting a caller, although in their bio it says that they're 18. Then there's the next person called Femboy Politics, though their bio says that they were born in 2002, making them again of age. And there is more evidence even showing that they had an OnlyFans, where you have to be over 18 to even have an OnlyFans account. Now the Catboy Ranch Discord server also had a pretty weird banner, and that makes them look really suspicious. And they also posted a tweet with a pretty weird picture on Twitter that does again make him really suspicious, but I don't really think this proves anything from at least these screenshots, though I don't think they should have had a banner like this on their Discord server or have tweeted this. In the end, Catboy Ranch seems to be a troll account for the most part on Twitter, with a lot of false allegations surrounding it when it comes to the callers, and not enough evidence to support that Keffals knew the stuff going on in the Femboy Hangout server, or that they were even active. Now I will end this by saying I think she was definitely in the wrong for replying with that meme, and I think you should probably verify the age before posting something like that. And the Discord server banner is pretty weird and really suspicious, but I don't think that conclusively proves anything. The other important thing of note from the Kiwi Farms thread is of Chloe or Bob posting, where they have a website where they show on how to get HRT kit. There are labels on these kits saying keep out of reach of parents, and they even have their own website where it informs them on how to make it at home. Keffals being semi-close to Bob posting, and on Twitter seems to agree with giving these things to even saying the phrase, "I'm gonna transgender your kids, try to stop me." Keffals and Bob believe they're doing good, and Keffals is even a sponsor on the HRT website, even promoting it on Twitter. Though for some reason later on in her career, she would go on the H3H3 podcast to say that she just showed them how to do it on a Twitch stream, instead of saying that it was actually a full-on website.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make me it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. They really are just straight up lying, huh? Well, who are pointing this out, that on your website, keffals.gg, you'll have a link here that says do it DIY HRT.
Yeah.
So
it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones.
Community.
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
So Keffals before streaming had a political run. Well, let's just say her run in politics was nothing short of a failure. Keffals stated in a podcast that we're going to be getting into a little bit later, said where she got her political ideas from, saying she traveled to multiple different countries like Cuba and Beijing. She felt more content with this communist ideology, most likely because she thought seeing it in person and liking how it was there made her most likely comfortable with her choice. So with her choice to be a communist, she started her political run and took part in 2 separate elections. The first one she would do was in 2018 in the Legislative Assembly of Ontario election, and then ran again in 2019 in the federal election. Even though she ran in both elections, she lost both of them, only getting 127 to around 128 votes. Keffals put out a statement around this time, coping, saying she didn't even do this to win, and said she's only doing this for political experience. I never expected to do well in the races. She said, I was only doing this for political experience. I think if you can knock on 100 doors and say you're part of the Communist Party, you can probably be a good advocate for a lot less contentious issues. She soon after this became a socialist, which is kind of crazy, saying from communism to socialism, it's kind of like just a complete 180. Keffals also held a podcast called The Communist Turret, but she soon after dropped the podcast, probably because one, it wasn't really going anywhere, and also probably to start a streaming career. Keffals, after being harassed for a long time now, ended up getting swatted after people were impersonating her and sending threats to politicians that were not transgender. Keffals ended up being fined from the swatting, and she wasn't hurt, though Keffals would go on mainstream news to go against the police for misgendering her during the swatting incident and dead naming her.
Clara Sorrenti says a false email with her address was sent to London City Council, claiming she had her mother and was intending to City Hall, who were straight. The email, Sorrenti says, had given out her real address and resulted in police with at her doorstep and her being arrested.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that, I screamed, and I thought I was going to.
London Police Service.
After all of this went down, Keffals decided to sue the police department for dead naming her and misgendering her, and even started a GoFundMe to raise enough money to pay for the legal fees and also pay for new housing. Keffals to this day, from what I can find, has never really gone to court with this, and in a clip has seemed to say that it was just to pay for new housing, even though that in a different clip she literally has said that it was also for the court fees.
The thing that they say with this is that I said that this money was for suing the police, which I never did, because I'm not just moving. I'm also taking legal action.
Only 2 months later, Destiny would go on to write a whole manifesto on Keffals called the Destiny Manifesto, exposing a lot of things about Keffals. I'm not going to go over it, seeing the video Destiny made on is like 3 hours. Screw that, I like to sleep. So if you'd like to know exactly what Destiny said and all of that, and I suggest to go watch his video, because even if I did go over it, I still feel like Destiny would do a better job than I would of explaining everything. In February of 2023, Keffals would get cancelled on Twitter for honestly a pretty dumb reason. Keffals, as we discussed, is extremely far left, so people on Twitter cancelled her for saying the godforsaken word,
Hold on, retard break. I need a retard break. Give me a retard break for like two minutes. Give me a retard break, okay? I can't keep listening to retards.
Now, in a normal sense, I don't really think anybody would get cancelled for this, but when your whole audience is built up around extreme far-left ideology, is anyone really surprised? And it wouldn't stop it there, because the same Twitter user that originally exposed her for saying would put this out. Keffals is now encouraging her followers to go infiltrate genderqueer Twitter to spread misinfo and mistrust by using pick-through avatars. She suggested her followers pretend to be black, end result will being the LGBT BIPOC would then be viewed with suspicion as a result. And here's the clip where she said it.
You just got here, are we spreading misinfo? Yeah, I'm doing gay ops on genderqueers by encouraging my, I'm encouraging my followers to make pick-through accounts and infiltrate genderqueer Twitter. Because once they catch wind of the plan, they're going to all become incredibly suspicious of pick crews and they will eat each other alive. Does it matter which pick crew? No, just use a random one. But the more diverse, the better. Like, make it like a black butch lesbian.
When all of this broke out, her community went after her and ate her alive. And when asked why she did this, especially on Black History Month out of any month in the year, her mod allegedly banned the person with the reason it's Black History Month, which my guess is it was probably just a troll. But it's like, when the person you're modding is already getting trashed on, I don't really think it's smart to give these people another reason to run to Twitter and trash on her. It's like pouring gas on the fire. It's gonna get worse. People insane the whole thing with her mod started a snowball effect, with more people calling her out for stuff like a clip where she called a mentally disabled person retarded.
You are doing similar things. If you want to criticize me for that, you need to look inward. People have tried to be kind.
All right, Jesus. All right, done. God, I don't, what? I made another clip. Oh no.
Which I gotta say, in seeing this clip, it's ironic considering if Keffals was on the other side of the stick, she probably would have trashed on the person for doing this. But besides that, this started to make the whole LGBTQ mass unfollower make people wonder if she was grifting the whole time. Because I want to remind you guys, this started because she said the word "read." Keffals didn't lose her career over this, but it is really funny to see that her own fan base ate her up. Later on that month in 2023, Keffals would then take to Twitter saying that she suffered from addiction this whole time and said that she's going to rehab and said that she might even be leaving the internet for good. In the next few days, I will be admitted to rehab. The doctor said that because of the drugs I'm addicted to, without medical supervision, detoxing will kill me. I will be off social media for 30 to 45 days while I work on getting better. Thank you to all my friends, fans, and supporters for staying by my side and for all the kind words. To all the people who were harmed by my actions, I'm deeply sorry. I'm making a commitment to work towards being a better person, and I don't want to let any of you down. My YouTube channel will still be active and I have no involvement. My editors are going through old streams to ensure my channel stays active in my absence. LeafyisHere recently came back to the internet and started a promising career on Rumble. The biggest way Leafy came back was making tweets against the LGBTQ, which I can't read out because I'm pretty sure it's against TOS. But in this whole war of Leafy going after this group of people, one person was caught in the crossfire, and of course, it was none other than Keffals. And well, this time it was also her fault. LeafyisHere in his comeback put out a tweet against a minority group, and Keffals, being the trans activist, said this. After saying this on Twitter and trying to ratio Leafy, which she's been known for her whole career to ratio people, she completely failed this time, only getting around 9k likes compared to Leafy's 17,000. In response to LeafyisHere, for him making fun of her for not ratioing him, decided to make a video talking about it.
Ratios are meaningless, but it's a fun thing to do on Twitter despite it not accomplishing anything. I failed to ratio people in the past and it's never been a big deal.
Leafy is straight up trolling your fan base, trashing on them, and you come in and try to stop him with the almighty ratio being the trans activist and lose. I don't see how she doesn't see how this is a big deal.
My god, did this set off the horde. Due to another change I'm sure advertisers love, misgendering and dead naming are no longer banned on the platform, and after having a flurry of the most annoying people alive in my mentions, I decided it wasn't worth it and deleted the tweet. This only sparked more backlash, however, as well as transphobic vitriol towards me, proclaiming that Leafy had epically owned me in the marketplace of ideas because I failed to get enough Reddit updates.
In this clip, she is quite literally acting like she is the victim. Like, you obviously knew what you were getting into going after somebody that is transphobic. She then goes on to say that since she didn't buy Twitter Blue, it was harder to ratio LeafyisHere. Even though in the screenshot I'm like almost positive Leafy didn't have Twitter Blue either.
Unfortunately, attempting to ratio Leafy was a mistake. While I was away, I must have missed a new update to Musk's Twitter that if you pay him money and lick his boots, you can get to the top of the replies. But because I have self-respect, I didn't buy Twitter Blue. This made the ratio a lot harder to accomplish.
She then goes on to act like it's not a big deal she lost the ratio, even though that if she won the ratio, she would have made a big deal out of it.
Ratios are meaningless, but it's a fun thing to do on Twitter despite it not accomplishing anything. I failed to ratio people in the past and it's never been a big deal. But this time, things were different. People celebrated this like it was some sort of monumental win, treating it as something a lot more important than it really is. Ratios were really funny and silly, but now I realize that there's power in it.
At the end of this response, she goes on to say that Leafy's unhinged because he was trolling her and talking about her, and says it's Leafy being the one being over dramatic, while Keffals literally made a 14-minute video explaining how she got trolled and lost the ratio.
And then you become a terminally online Icarus and fly too close to the sun and get permanently banned from all the platforms that you got popular on in the first place, and then you slowly deplete your bank account because you've accumulated no skills outside of roasting people, and you are so high all the time now that you can't even properly do that after returning.
At the end of this drama, only one person actually gained something out of this, and it's obviously LeafyisHere. In the end, Keffals has a pretty degenerate past, with a huge rabbit hole to go into, and this is just part 1. I plan to make a 2-part series of this being part 1 obviously, where I go over a lot of the dramas and beef she's had over the years. So if you'd like to see that, make sure to subscribe, as it'll be coming out hopefully next week if I don't completely die from school. But without further ado, it's been Amos, the worst Turkey Tom clone, and yeah, peace.
Ratios are meaningless. Ratios were really funny and silly, but now I realize that there's power in it.